follow up onto that, since
Did I not answer
Frank
your
Rea
question?
Poopy is next week, has got a hearing to get a new trial.
Yeah.
He's trying to go
Yeah.
get a retrial. And the problem is he's become symbolic with the dishonest part of election. Pay to play's part of that process. How do you keep these elections honest? I mean, is
Listen,
there...
I
go ahead.
will, we're in a different world now with social media and having to be accountable to the public, right? And you literally can only do so much. The average person, the average Joe Q public doesn't want to hear about that, right? The average Joe Q public wants to know that their elected officials are working on making their streets safer. They're working on, every issue that's important to them. But sometimes it's important to let them know that the one thing that's going to keep your elected official from being able to do that is something nefarious, right? And they need to be aware so that they can respond as necessary, if necessary. So I've been fighting voter fraud since my 2015 election, and 2 of the 3 candidates that I backed they won in the polls, and after vote by mails, they lost. And my head about spun off because I just couldn't believe it. And I did a bunch of research. I got involved in a voter recount. I chaired the Democratic committee for a brief period of time specifically so that we could make some changes to poll workers where we knew that there was voter fraud. We made those changes. I worked closely with the chair of the Republican committee locally, and we made those changes. I think that what we're seeing with the Rea trial is that we've seen an end to that aspect of election fraud. I think, and I'm just hopeful that, everyone in the community is on the lookout for different ways that we have the nefarious and unfortunate influences in our elections. It's happening right now.
So in your monologue or your introduction,